Well, hello. It's time for another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks I've been using throughout the week. So let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And not too many topics this week. I'll let you know why at the end of the video, but this is going to be a short Pens in Use. So let's take a look at some pens. So these are the pens I've been using this week, and kind of into this weekend because I'll get to that. But from left to right, I have a Waterman Carène. I have a Nakaya. Oh shoot, what's it called? Panic. Neo Standard Writer. I have a Pilot E95S. I have a Omas Ogiva, an Omas 360, two Pilot Custom 823s, and a Sheaffer 330. So, those are the pens I've been using this week, and into this weekend. We'll get to this one. I'm going to document their writing in this cognitive surplus seafood flavored notebook. All right, so my first pen that I've been using this week, you saw it, I did a little rodeo earlier this week where I compared this to the Waterman Exception, which is now empty. This is the Waterman Carène, just a beautiful pen. I don't usually like metal pens, but this is one that I like. Has a fun inlaid nib. Mine is a broad. Usually you can find them in a fine or a medium, but I was lucky. I found a broad. So, of course, it lays down a beautiful line. And with this ink, it shades very well. The ink, of course, is Lamy Bronze. I'm trying to use up my oranges. This is orange. So I'm trying to use it up. Like I've been doing with a lot of my inks, I'm just trying to use up ink. So probably makes it a little bit less interesting for you that I don't have the wide variety of inks in this show every week, but you know what? This week, I emptied my bottle of Montblanc Black. So that was exciting. My next pen is this beautiful, beautiful Nakaya Neo Standard Writer. I just love this pen. It's not exactly a daily writer. But, boy, except when I race. When I try to write too fast, it can't keep up with that. So this is a pen where you're not trying to do your daily writing. It's a soft fine. The nib in it is the ink in it is Noodler's. Black Swan and English Rose. And I think you can see here, you don't rush with this pen. You give it its time. Let's just back off and zoom a tiny bit here. And, vintage flex, yeah, a lot of them could handle that, but this isn't vintage flex. This has been ground to be that way. I enjoy the soft, fine nib on this brand. But this has had some extra grinding done to it. I want to say it's the flex grind. Because there's a couple of grinds. There's an elastic grind where they put gouges in the side of the nib and all kinds of stuff. But I'm keeping it simple. Alright, my next pen. I'm going to use this in Fargo. I'm going to be wearing kind of like our uniform shirt, which is basically a long sleeve t-shirt. This is an E95S from Pilot. A great pocket pen. Very comfortable. I like this so much better than the Kaweco Sport. Do I dare say that? I think it's a medium nib in it, though, which is a small problem. But I used this pen to finish up the last of my Montblanc Black. Now I'm going to be using Montblanc Black for a few weeks because I filled, and I literally filled, my Pilot Custom 823 with it. But the bottle is out of my collection. That ink is done. It is time to move on to a new black ink. Once I, empty out these two pens of their Montblanc Black. So it's always a satisfying feeling to me to use up an ink. Then we have my Omas Ogiva, which surprisingly I haven't used much this week, but I think I'm going to refill it with the same ink one more time, and then I'm going to clean it. So the Omas Ogiva cocktail. I had a chance to look at some of what they've come out with now, and I'm just like, oh, not so great. So this is a medium extra flessibile, and the ink in it is, of course, the discontinued Omas Gray. So, I'm glad to see the brand back in business, but I can't tell if it's going to be the same types of pens or not. What they first came out with, I just didn't like the looks, but it could have been the material they made the pen out of. I don't know, but I was not impressed. So we'll just have to see. I'm not I buy modern pens, obviously, because almost this whole show this week is modern pens, but my focus really isn't modern pens. So this is the Omas 360. This has a medium nib on it. And the ink in it, last week I wasn't sure, but this week I am. It's going to be Diamine Ancient Copper. How do I know? Because you know how last week I released my video of this Nakaya Neo Standard Writer, and I said, oh yeah, that pen's been hiding in my collection for a year, and I finally admitted that I own one. So another pen like that, which will remain anonymous. Oop, looks like a little bug fell on my desk and he's trying to hop, so we got him. Anyway, what was I saying? This pen that will remain anonymous probably for a year or so, I just inked up with my bottle of Diamine Ancient Copper, and it looks exactly like this. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a Diamine Ancient Copper cartridge. This pen, it's got this goofy filling mechanism. Yeah, I don't get it either, but yeah, that's what Omas came up with, so yay! And then, which is taking me forever to use up, I don't like brown inks. This is my Pilot Custom 823. This one has a broad nib in it, and the ink in it is Pelikan Edelstein Smoky Quartz. It's a nice enough brown, but it is discontinued because they don't, they issue these special edition inks and sell pens to match them, and then boop, we're done. I guess I'd rather see something I can depend on. But I know what they're doing. They're generating that excitement that buy this ink now or you won't be able to later. I guess if you're into that kind of thing. I'm not. I want to be able to buy the ink year in, year out whenever I run out. So on that front, I just filled my Pilot Custom 823 with a fine point nib with Montblanc black. And, once I use up this pen and that Pilot E95S, I'll be done with that ink. So definitely a lot finer. I see more line variation here in the fine. And it's a wet pen, just like its broad brother. And this is a great, let's call it a workhorse pen. It's not what I would consider everyday carry, because I prefer a pen that I can just, slip the cap off, not one that I have to unscrew. But this one I have to unscrew. So, not so much a fan of that. And there's the fiddling with the, the seal and the valve and all that stuff. And I just want to write. My last pen is a vintage. So, I'm going to have to go vintage heavy, because I've got too many modern pens there. But this is a vintage Sheaffer with a very cool inlaid nib. So this is a Sheaffer 330 with a fine nib, and the ink in it is Diamine Damson. So I wrote a bunch of notes this week with my other Sheaffer, my other vintage Sheaffer. Wrote it dry. I was using the Pelican Blue Black, which is the blue black I'm trying to use up right now. This is the purple I'm focusing on. I like this purple. There's a part of me that thinks, I don't know. Is this the one? And it's not. But it is a nice purple. So, other than the Lamy bronze, probably a pretty dingy collection this week. I'm sorry. I'm filming this early, and, that's how it goes. So those are the pens and inks I've been using this week. Not lots of changes, a few. As you can tell, since I'm on that Pilot Custom 823, I have used up the last of my Montblanc black ink. So that's exciting to have one more bottle gone. And it's a long shoe-shaped bottle, so it takes up enough space for 2 or 3 bottles of ink. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to be a while before I run out of other bottles of ink. The next one to go is either going to be the Alt Goldgrün or the Blue Mar. But anyway, so I'll just start out. I'll mention that as you watch this, I'm not safely in my small town in rural southwestern North Dakota. I'm in the big city of Fargo with a bunch of teenagers at State Science Olympiad. So hopefully I'm having good fun. Help me. I have, in the weather forecast, there's snow in Fargo, so I hope I'm enjoying that too. I will try to do shorts. In fact, depending on how things go, you may have even seen some shorts. Just kind of discussing my experience, showing you different things about NDSU or Science Olympiad or whatever. But anyway, we got 4th at regionals. Not an amazing showing, but, we got 4th and we qualified for states, so, is my big thing with Science Olympiad that always bothers me is students have no problem with last minute. And I do. Last minute freaks me out because I make a lower quality product. I'm panicked, I'm stressed, and I won't get things done, and I hate that. Whereas if I work ahead and just kind of mosey on, get the things done, and, oh, gotta fix this, that's how I roll. So, yeah, that's a big conflict for me with Science Olympiad, and it's as I get older, it's getting worse and worse. So it may be time to hang it up and give that to somebody else if we could find somebody else. There's nobody out there. So anyway, that's where I'm at. So I'll try to check in on comments, but who knows? I may not really get a chance to look at comments until Sunday. And that's just how it's going to have to be. All right, in other exciting news. Sorry, it looked weird. There's a car coming up the road, but it's just a car. It just looked funny with the headlights through the bushes. There is a video coming out on Sunday that was supposed to come out last Sunday. And actually it was originally planned to be part of my Pens in Use last Friday, but it was just too long, so I separated it. But a little bout of laryngitis struck me on Saturday, as you saw if you watched to the end of my Pens in Use last week. So, it was fine on Sunday, so when I filmed some other stuff on Sunday, I filmed that too. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, except I had to record the audio twice, but that was my fault because somebody talked too close to the microphone. And he knows better. So, yay. But anyway, I got it done, and pretty happy with how it turned out. Of course, as soon as I finished it, just a couple days later, I found some better text. So Kurt Vonnegut wrote a famous letter to the Drake School Board, and I could only find an excerpt until a few days after filming the video, putting it together. Then I found the full speech or full letter, and I wasn't even looking for it. So I will put a link to that below in the video description, and I will put a link to it at the very tail end of the footnotes in the Drake video. But it's kind of exciting. I love doing a deep dive project like that. And I wish I had time to do more of them. These are not the videos that get me views. They're usually my most low view count videos. But I really enjoy doing them. So that's why I keep doing them. I know you could say you should focus on fountain pens. I know. That's where, most of my views come from. And I do enjoy talking about fountain pens. These driving videos are just something I enjoy. And I found I enjoy doing book reviews. So you're going to get those too. In fact, not this coming week, but the week after, we're going to get an overview of the Wheel of Time series. And then I want to just bounce around to a couple fiction books. I'm throwing together some stuff for more driving videos. One of them I'm just going to call Craziness, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that in the future we're not going to believe happened in 2022 and 2023. Like North Dakota had a bill in front of its legislature about banning litter boxes in school bathrooms, that kind of thing. So that'll be more of a fun video because it's just so crazy. You have to either laugh or else you'll cry. And then I've got a few other things lined up. I'm not sure where I will go, so I'm just going to keep them on the back burner till I commit to something. But I love to read and just pick up random pieces of stuff. Then all of a sudden it just sort of all gels together and whoop, I got a video. So the book banning series was like that. I knew the science teacher in Drake probably the summer of my first year teaching in North Dakota. So summer of the year 2000. I took a class with a science teacher from Drake and from some science teachers from other schools too. And very nice lady. She's long since retired. She never met the English teacher that we will be talking about in that video. She was not around for the book banning, but very nice lady. Very knowledgeable, very experienced teacher. And yeah, so I've always been a little curious about Drake because of her. Drove through it twice in the past. I've lived in the state 23 years, so I've driven through it twice in 23 years. Now 3 times. You get to see the 3rd time. What always struck me, Drake's in an old school building. And was starting to show some signs of age. And so when I went back this time, I was very startled by how much they fixed that building up. So I guess they're going to try and keep that school district open for a while longer. So I guess they're going to try and keep that. So I just had a nasty cough that I edited out of the video. So I guess they've decided to keep the Drake School open for a bit longer. You know, enrollment's dropping. Kind of the story of a lot of small schools in North Dakota. And, but they're, making a legitimate effort by fixing up that building as nicely as they did. I don't know what it's like inside, but the outside looks really good now. But there is a story to the book burning. I found another interesting quote that I wish I would have used in my video that actually matched one of my book banning videos that I did. I had a quote from the superintendent in Esmond that he basically said it's our job to teach students how to think, not what to think. Back in 1973, when reporters talked to Mr. Severy, the English teacher in Drake, whose books ended up being burned in the school furnace, he said the same exact line. So, also very cool. And for whatever reason, I had that article. I did not include that in the video. So, you always look at what you've done before and think, I could do better this time. But, you can't keep looking at what you've done. You gotta, other than, okay, I've learned from that for next time. But, that critical eye is what helps you keep improving. So I hope that I can continue to improve my driving videos. One thing that's helped a lot is I am a lot more organized about my script writing, and I just think a lot more about them now than I used to, and organize them a lot better. So anyway, that was a long way of saying I'm going to do more driving videos, but we're going to do some book reviews first because I just want to, as much as I enjoy making those deep dive driving videos, I need a little break, and especially with Science Olympiad at the same time. I just want to relax for a little while. So anyway, those are the main topics I had for this week. So don't expect me to respond to you till Sunday, because I might be able to read your comments, but I'm going to have to respond on this, which if you've ever watched me use a cell phone, I'm this kind of a cell phone user. I am slower than death. So, yeah, wait till Sunday. So I want to thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.